Any other questions, please?
Term of these symbols, what does water and rock and water coming out of rock symbolize?
Rock, water, and wine, we find it all through the Bible. The rock will be the most literal translation of the scripture. The most literal. Water is when you see the psychological meaning behind the story. So from that literal story, you bring forth water. You're told in the book of Genesis, he came into the field and the well was covered with a rock, a stone. He rolled away the stone and watered the sheep. And then he rolled it back again. So every man comes to the rock, which is the Bible, the rock of God. He sees, if he knows how to read, he can read it. But he has to turn it into water. So he turns stone into water, getting the psychological meaning of the story. His use of that story, psychologically, converts water into wine. So we are told in Timothy's letter, Paul's letter to Timothy, drink no more water. Use a little wine for your stomach's sake and your many infirmities. In other words, don't completely absorb the psychological meaning all day long and never apply it. Drink a little wine now. Now, if you take that literally, you may go and get plastered. But he doesn't mean it that way. He means take what you know of the truth and use it. The use of it turns the water into wine. I can't hear both. You know, I'm not hearing you correctly. It's a child, you say? Or a child? Well, to be a child is the greatest of all significance. The child is something created. Christ is always symbolized as a child. Always the child. Christ is the creative power and the wisdom of God. And that power is always personified as a child. Always. In the 8th chapter of Proverbs. And when he created the world, before he brought forth anything, I stood beside him as a little child. And I was daily his delight. For I am his creative power, his wisdom. He who finds me finds life. He who misses me injures himself. He who hates me loves death. And so you find the little child. The day will come, you'll all bring forth the Christ child. Everyone will give birth to Christ and bring forth that power of God wrapped in swaddling clothes in the form of a little babe.
What does two eyes mean that are not frightening in any way when you go to sleep, worried about one of your debts, and you hear in your sleep a voice that says, "Oh, stop worrying and look up." And then when I look up here, these two beautiful eyes, and it worried me so.
Worried you?
and people looking to see if anybody could have thrown a reflection on there. And then it just came to me all of us. Well, I better wait till Neville comes to see what that was.
To me, it's self-explanatory. You go to bed worried about something, and you hear a voice of authority asking you, what are you worrying about? And telling you not to worry, and reveals itself in two glorious eyes. And you are concerned? No. Look upon that as the most wonderful symbol of health. But let us get off the dreams now. And yet,
one thing I don't quite understand, when you have a desire and you're in this end and you completely feel an affluence of it, do you stay in this until it is manifested, or do you stop? And maybe a month or two later?
No, I wouldn't say that anyone stays in it. In the course of a day, you and I change state after state after state, numberless states in the course of a day. Well, we do have one to which we return constantly. That's where we live. That state, that emotion to which we most often return, constitutes the true self, the true state. That's the one that's always hatching out. If I don't like the fruit that it bears, I should do something about planting a new kind of a state or tree. But the individual planting, for instance, like the money I got from my friend. I did it on Wednesday. He gave it to me on Friday. In the interval, I didn't do it again. Never thought of it again. My wife asked me to do it, for it was unfinished business. So I did it. Well, now, the Bible teaches that the vision has its own appointed hour. It ripens. It will flower. If it be long, then wait, for it is sure and it will not be late. Not be late for itself. No two impregnations have the same interval of time between conception and birth. A child takes 9 months. A horse takes 12. A chicken takes three weeks. And so seeds have their different intervals of time. That's true also of concepts. Man can conceive himself to be this, that, or the other, and then that interval between the conception and its birth is determined by the nature of the conception. Any other questions?
In other words, when you conceive this result in your imagination and you let it go.
Always go to the end. The end is where we begin. What would it be like were it true? That's the end, isn't it? I have no concern with the means. I go to the end. And the end determines the means. He says, I have ways and means you know not of. My ways are past finding out. So all we're concerned with here is the end. Going to the end, remaining faithful for one moment to get the reaction, the thrill, that emotion that comes with success. And then drop it.